Hello and welcome to Live Conversation on ALLATRA TV. My name is Olga and I have my co-host today is Marina from Atlanta. And today with us we have a wonderful speaker, guest speaker. But before we get to her, I just want to remind our viewers that at the end of our conversation, we're going to ask our guest of who she wants to meet. It could be any person in the world, and with whom she wants to talk about creative society, where people all live comfortably, where their family and everyone in the world are happy and have everything that they need. So we're going to ask her that at the end, and we're going to ask our viewers to share this video and see how long it takes to get to the person that she would like to meet. And we're actually testing out the rule of 6 handshakes to see if the rule truly works. But please, when you do share this video, use 2 hashtags, hashtag Creative Society and hashtag ALLATRA Unites, so that we can see how long it takes for this video to get to the person that our guest would like to meet. And now I would like to introduce to you Dr. Nicole Steele, founder and executive director of Diamond in the Rough Youth Development Program. Dr. Steele, we're so happy to have you here with us today. Can you please tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yes, well, thank you, ladies, for allowing me to share your platform. I really appreciate it. As you said, I am the executive director and founder of a phenomenal award-winning youth program for girls called Diamond in the Rough. At that organization, I have the pleasure of working with an incredible team of women, of passionate, professional women who are committed to helping to prepare, inspire, nurture, and provide knowledge to girls. Our program works with girls ages 4 to 18, providing group mentoring, leadership training, career coaching, and family enrichment activities. So we've been doing that strong for the past 16 years and counting. And there's nothing better that I could imagine doing with my life, really.
Wow, that's amazing. 16 years, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
That is a very long time. So what would you say motivates you for such a positive, the positive that you bring to the society?
Well, I think for me it's 2-part. First of all, working with girls is a passion, probably because I'm the mother of 2 girls. So my husband and I have a huge responsibility, as do parents across the world, just raising up the leaders of tomorrow, really imparting in our girls in particular the importance of knowing who they are, of knowing their value and their worth, being able to own their voice and use it in a respectful way, of course, but yet and still, using their voice and helping them focus on the things that are important. So I think that is part of it. But in addition to that, it's probably my personal journey, which is one of the things that motivates me most. As we talked about a little earlier, I'm a native of Ann Arbor, Michigan. And like many, I was raised by a single mother. But when I look back over my life, I think about all of the people who were placed in my life. My mother was very strategic about making sure that I had what I now call real models in my life. People who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. People who held me to a higher standard. People who spoke life into me in some of my toughest times in life. And when I look back and see, had it not been for those people, where would I be? Of course, now on the other side, I feel a sense of obligation and an opportunity to be that for the next generation. So I think those 2 things coupled together give me the drive to get up every day and do what I do, and without complaining, and just live my purpose. This is my life's purpose.
You shared a great example of how people can help each other in a difficult situation. Like those kind of stories motivates me all the time. And I have a question to you. what do you think? What can each person do in order to make positive changes in a society?
Well, I think that one of the things that people can do to make a positive impact in society is to, first of all, embrace whatever they bring to the table. I think oftentimes people tend to compete and compare their gifts and talents, their experience, their uniqueness to others. And as a result, they never act on it because they're secretly admiring from afar what other people are doing. I think one of the keys is beginning to embrace who you are, what you bring to the table, what your passion is. And I think if we all began to operate from that passion place, and we're all using our gifts and talents for a greater good, we would see a tremendous difference in our nation and world. I really do.
Yes, yes, I have to agree with you. And it's interesting how when you shared your story, you said that you had somebody as an example, right? That true good example that would motivate you. And that's key today to have somebody be that positive person in our lives. And it's amazing that you are that person today for so many. And since we're talking about women and girls, what do you think, what is the role of a woman in society?
Well, you know, it's interesting. When I think about the role of women, naturally, one of the great traits, in my opinion, is our ability to nurture. And I'm not just speaking about nurturing from a parent's role, you know, a mother to child, but I think from even a young age, it's in us to be able to look out for others, to care for others, to have concern for others. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing about being a woman. I think that the role of the woman is to, again, to use their voice. I know all over the world, there are many women who are silenced, whose voices are not able to be heard. And even here in the United States where I live, there are women in different segments of our population whose voices are silenced. And I think it's such a disservice to the world when women's voices are not heard. When I think about changes that have taken place, lives that have been impacted globally, it's been the courage and the confidence of women that have been part of much of the change that we've seen in our society and world. So I think if women began again to own their voice, even at a young age, to be able to use it for good, and if others would begin to embrace the voice of women, I think that, again, we could see some tremendous positive change in our world. Women have a lot to say, a lot to say. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I do agree.
That's true. That's true. So, and what other changes would you like to see in our society?
Well, you know, there's so much pain, so many people hurting. There's so many ills in society. When I think about the objectification of women and girls in particular across the world, I mean, we know, we can all, no matter where we live, we know the issue of human trafficking. And there's so many things that are designed to keep people, not just women, I mean, because things even concerning human trafficking, it's not just something that affects women in particular, but there's so much pain in our world. And I think if we could get back to the basics, which have to do with being our sister's keeper or our brother's keeper. Right now, in this I world, in this selfie world, so many people have been consumed with self. You know, what's important to me? What do I want to do? Where am I trying to go? I think about my days in Michigan as a young person. You know, even though I was raised by a single mother, the women and the men in the community knew me. And there was a responsibility that everybody took. I think about my teachers. One of my teachers who I did not appreciate as a child, I did not appreciate him, but now I hold him in the highest esteem. His name was William Watt, and he was so over the top, but he cared about the kids. And there were so many growing up in my elementary school and middle school. But I think if we can begin to go back to the basics of caring one for another, yes, it's important what our goals and our aspirations and our dreams are, but not if it's at the sake of humanity. If, you know, what does it mean for me to, you know, achieve the greatest things if I have crushed, you know, and stepped on people along the way, or missed opportunities to really be a blessing to those that I come in contact with? You know, it's really about redefining what success looks like. And does success look like money and fame and fortune? Or does success look like significance and how I can be a blessing to those around me? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel.
No, that makes total sense about
Yeah, I fully agree too.
Yes, how we need to keep our human qualities ahead. You know, they should be put forward, and not greed and, you know, things like that
should drive us. Mm-hmm. So, and I fully agree. And on a platform of ALLATRA International Public Movement, we have a project, No Violence in a Family and a Society. And there we also discussed the issue about human trafficking, house violence. And we were wondering why we have such a problems in a society. And by interviewing people, we figured out that the problem with all the human trafficking is not the trafficking itself. So we as a society will not be able to put the end to this problem, because the problem that we have demand for such. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when we understood that, we're starting to think like in a different direction, like how we can add this terrible situation in our society. And one of the like we're still looking for the answer, but like one of the part that we truly understand is that we need to have positive information in our society. We don't have to have information that so like advertise violence. Mm-hmm. So it's much better to have some good examples through media, through pop music, cartoons, whatever we see on the TV constantly. So what do you think? How do you see media? What is the role of media?
I think media, and we've kind of chatted about it just briefly earlier. I think the role of media is an essential role. And I think for many, not all, but I think for many of the media outlets, they've lost their way. I do understand that part of it is supply and demand. So everybody has a part. The consumer who's on the other side of the television, or who's downloading the music on the, you know, Spotify or iTunes, they have a responsibility as well. But when it comes to the media, I think about the sensationalism of violence and gore and evil and all kinds of things. You talk about the cartoons. I have 2 daughters, and one of them is in elementary school. And I'm grieved a lot that I can't just walk out of the room and allow her to watch just regular, I'm not even talking about cable television. I'm talking about regular television because of the commercials. You know, I've had to subscribe to, you know, things like Sirius radio so that I have control on the type of music that we listen to. I mean, there's so much when it comes to media, and I wish that media would really understand the power that they have, but not just the power, but the responsibility. I'm always shocked. I've seen interviews where music executives or even artists have not been willing to allow their children to listen to the music that they put out there for other people's children. And what a double standard that is. You know, I think about some of the movie stars and the productions that are put out there, and do they have the same standard for their consumers that they would have for their own children or grandchildren? I think if we operated from a space where, again, do unto others as I'm a do unto myself, you know, would we see a shift? When I think about the media outlets and journalism in particular, I think the field of journalism is a lost art. And for the journalists who really are trying to maintain what journalism was designed to do, to inform and to be unbiased and to be factual, that's a lost art. I see, you know, media outlets just wanting to be the first to tell it, and they don't fact check, and they don't vet the stories, and it's a crazy world right now. So I think the media has a part to play, but likewise, again, consumers have a part to play. And so on the consumer side, cutting it off, writing a letter, using our voice to let the media know what we like, what we don't like, tuning into those things that bring us life, and shutting off the things that, you know, that aren't healthy for us. We've got a responsibility. And I tell you, if we did our part, they get on board. You know, if nobody's tuning in or buying the music or watching the movies or filling the movie theaters, they'll get it sooner or later. But it's really unfortunate that we find ourselves here, because at a time like this, with technology, you know, with all the creativity at our fingertips, we really do have an opportunity to see some great change. And I think we are seeing that to some degree. A lot of the walls are being broken down. Internet, that's one of the wonderful things about things like YouTube and live streaming. I mean, people can push out content without the gatekeepers. And I think that we're going to see, we have the potential to see a positive shift in the years to come. That's my hope.
100% agree. So we have a responsibility. So if we don't like it, we don't have to buy it. That's exactly true. Exactly. And let's dream. Dr. Steele, can you please tell us in what kind of society you would like to live in? Please describe this society.
Woo! Wow. If I could live in any type of society, it would be a society that valued people. It would value, again, the gifts and talents that each person brought. There would be no, you know, I guess gifts and talents that were high on pedestals and ones that were down low. I think just really being able to embrace and celebrate everybody would be important. I think of a place where family was first. You know, I think about some of the people in my life, my grandparents, and just the wisdom that was passed down generation after generation. And I think for many, that's lost. I think a generation that, again, put first things first, you know, family, faith, purpose. You know, I think we'd see a lot more joy and fulfillment and peace and prosperity. I think that we see all of that if we were really able to operate in that thing that we were created to operate in. I think that we would see quality of life increase. I think that health would be positively impacted because the stress level and the anxiety and a lot of diseases that are caused by this rat race that so many people find themselves in. I think we see some positive change. So that's what my ideal, oh, and then one that took care of our environment. That would be important too. You know, taking care of this beautiful earth that we've been blessed, you know, to live in. I think that would be important as well.
Yes, yes, definitely. Where people respect each other and where family is first. I definitely have to agree. Why do you think today, and like you said, we have this technology that could be used to hurt us, but we can also use it in aid of creating something great, right? And building something positive. So why do you think today we don't live in this society? And what can we, each of us, do in order to build that kind of a world?
I think for each of us, it's a mind shift, first and foremost, just being able to think outside of the box, in many instances being courageous and confident enough to blaze trails that maybe aren't before you. I think a lot of times people do what they've seen or what they know or what's comfortable. And when it comes to really making change, it's going to take you know, it's going to call for people to really sit in a place of courage and confidence, and really get clear about the type of world that they want to see and their part in doing it. I think their part is part of it. I think people hold on to what they desire to see, and oftentimes it's they should, and you know, they're always looking for someone else to be the answer, when in actuality, every day they get up and look in the mirror, they are part of that answer. So I think it's a mind shift. And then with that, again, the confidence and courage and the clarity to step out. You know, I think this time that we're in literally right now, with this global pandemic, COVID-19, it is requiring a lot of people to do just that. And I think that we have seen some incredible things just in a few weeks of people doing business differently, utilizing technology in a different light. I mean, even, you know, look at us, ladies, we're here, we're doing stuff that you all, you know, usually do face to face, which is great. But I think that it takes courage, you know, so yeah, we might not do it right every time. We might have to kind of fumble our way, you know, to the end result. But if we're never willing to take risk, we're going to be in the same place doing the same thing and getting the same results. So I think that it starts with the mental shift and then the courage and the confidence to step out.
Very well said. Yes, if people stop being quiet, and the more we talk, that's why I think right now we're asking all people in the world of what kind of society they would like to live in, just to get an idea of what each person would say, and to see, is there a need for change or not. And so far we see that all the people in the world are looking for change, and they are willing, they are speaking up, and they do want to see some positive things happening in our society. And also, we did forget this at the beginning of our program, but we do have a little collage with some pictures that we would like to show you. And if technical support, if we can please have it up, and maybe you can comment on it. If you can see it, you should. Maybe you can tell us
oh boy,
where you are, and tell us a little bit about you.
Oh my goodness. Oh, how cool. Okay. Well, the picture of me giving the high five, that is my phenomenal partner in purpose, Dr. Dion Parker. I told your listeners about the hat that I wear as the executive director of Diamond in the Rough, but I also wear another hat as co-owner of Gym Makers. which is a coaching and consulting business that truly does help ladies and leaders tap into the clarity, the confidence, and the courage that they need to shine with brilliance. And so she is, that high five is something that we do all day, every day, just even remotely, we're giving the high fives. She is my creative sister, and we get in the lab, and I'm just really blessed to do life with her. So that is who that is. I see the Sweet 16, which represents our 16th year with Diamond in the Rough. And that picture actually, as I recall, is members of our alumni association. So over these 16 years at Diamond in the Rough, I mean, we've worked with thousands and thousands and thousands of girls and families. But one of the most rewarding things is to see young ladies on the other side who've gone through our program, who've progressed through college, who are now in the workforce. We've even had members of our alumni association serve as volunteers, coming back to serve their little sisters, or even sitting on our board of directors. And so that is a celebration we had for our alumni just in December. It's always great. They're scattered around the country. Some are now global travelers, and they're making the impact and continuing the journey on the other side. So that's those girls. The ones, the girls, yep, I see them. A Priceless Perspective is a podcast that has reached tens of thousands across the world, and just again, empowering ladies, leaders, and little girls. Using our airways like you all are doing in a positive way is something that my team and I are committed to doing. That was, I think, the one with the two guys. Again, that was being on another Radio X, a podcast. I love not only sharing, being invited to share other people's platform, but also making sure that our platforms are one that are open for other people to bring their voices to. So I love collaboration. We cannot do the work that we do in silos anymore. And so we are so much stronger together than we are individually. And so I think that picture represents just the importance of collaboration. And then I see the picture and the quotes. One of my gifts, or one of the ways that I feel like one of my giftings is just being able to use my hands, and I'm the author of several books, but also being able to motivate people. I think that there are so many tools and resources that are at our fingertips, and no longer do we have to be in a box. So I am trying to live my life in such a way that I leave nothing on the table. So if it's writing, if it's speaking, if it's doing programs, developing curriculum, motivating others, hosting workshops, whatever I can do to die empty, that is my goal. I want to use every gift and talent that I have. So that is interesting, that collage.
Very nice. Yes, you look very happy in all those pictures. And now that we met you, we know that that's how you truly are. And that's amazing.
Well, thank you.
And so our last question is, how important do you think it is to talk about creative society today and to bring up those topics?
I think it's very important. I think just giving people permission to pause and to think about it. Again, vision is important. So often, again, we can just get in the rat race, doing what we know to do, to get the money, to survive, to take care of our families. But having dialogue and posing questions, really, allowing people to pause for a moment and say, what does a creative society look like for me? What do I desire? And not just what do I desire, but what part do I have to play? That's where real change comes. It seems like that would be a given for people, but sometimes if you don't have the conversation, people will live there. And just think about it. How many people have gone through their entire life and never paused to really think about what type of world they want to live in? They're just going through the motions. And to me, that's one of the saddest things. So I appreciate you all. I appreciate the work that you're doing globally to bring these questions and to have these conversations is something that's important, and not just something that we need to be having among adults, but with our children as well. I think my kids probably don't appreciate it. I know they don't right now, but I'm confident one day they will. But I have a lot of these conversations with my girls, and have since they were little girls, just asking them those questions because I want them to live a life knowing what they desire to see, like Gandhi says. So.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. That's true. If we don't have a vision, we don't have a common goal that we're striving towards, then there's no meaning, right? We're just going through the motions, and I agree with that completely. So now we would like to ask you, we're going to remind our viewers that right now we're going to ask Dr. Steele to name one person that she would like to meet and would like to talk about Creative Society with. And that one person can be anyone in the world. And we're going to ask our viewers to share this video. And we're using the rule of 6 handshakes to see how long it takes for this video to get to the guest that Ms. Steele would like to meet, Dr. Steele, I'm sorry. And we'll see how long it takes. Use 2 hashtags, hashtag Creative Society and hashtag ALLATRA Unites. So Dr. Steele, please tell us, who is that person?
Woo,
and why?
that was a packed question, and there is a long list, but if I had to narrow it down to one person, that person would be First Lady Michelle Obama. I would love to have coffee or tea or a conversation with her. I think that she, she's living that just, from the outside looking in. I think that she is, part of that positive change, but I want to know so much more. She inspires me. She's at the top of the list. So if anybody knows her, pass this video on.
Very nice. We're so happy to have you today here with us on ALLATRA TV. We truly are thankful that you took the time and to join us today. And Marina, do you have any more?
Thank you very much. I don't have any question, but I would like to say my gratitude for being here with us. It was our pleasure. Such a nice conversation. Thank you very much for being here.
Yes, thank you,
ladies. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.